Miss Rodeo Oregon tryouts was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. And that might seem silly because it is a pageant, and a lot of people I don't think pageants would be all that hard. But there is so much prep work that goes into it, not just in getting the clothes together, making sure everything is clean and presentable, but in the studying. You have to know so much about horse knowledge, rodeo knowledge, current events, be able to answer political questions and personality questions and all sorts of things. It's just very, very tough to make sure you prepare, because for me, I didn't want to get an answer wrong. I wanted to know the answer to everything. And so it was a little stressful getting ready for it, especially the few weeks leading up to it. My horse has asthma. Yes, horses have asthma too. And right before pageant, he got diagnosed with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which is also known as COPD. And it basically is something that a lot of racehorses have troubles with. When you're working them really hard, it's hard for them to breathe, and they'll actually start bleeding out their nose. And I was very concerned over him, obviously, because it was terrifying. He's my best friend, my trusted partner in the rodeo arena, and I don't want to see anything bad happen to him. So I had the vet out and was working with him very closely leading up to my pageant, and Ringo was actually on rest for light exercise for the 2 weeks leading up to it. And right when pageant started on Wednesday, he was approved for light exercise. And I figured, one lap around the rodeo arena, that's light exercise. And then I had to do horsemanship, which was my biggest concern, because that's a little bit more strenuous, a little bit longer time frame. But he pulled through for me, and he did really well, like always. He's very trustworthy and dependable, and that's irreplaceable to me. My support group for Miss Rodeo Oregon tryouts basically consisted of my family and community. Well, I had a bunch of people out from my community beforehand to do a mock run through, and then at the pageant itself, we're actually pulled aside and isolated through the duration of the pageant for 4 days. We're held in a hotel room with no cell phones and no way to contact the outside world. So I really had to rely on the support group that I had to get my horse ready, to warm him up. So that would be my mom, my sister, my friend Alyssa, and they were invaluable, because I wasn't able to tack my horse up. I wasn't able to make sure he was taken care of. So they were feeding him and cleaning his stall and keeping that light-colored Palomino clean, and saddling him and getting him ready for me for the rodeo. So all I had to do was get there and jump on, and away I went. My hopes and goals as Miss Rodeo Oregon obviously would be to be a really good ambassador for the sport of rodeo and my beautiful home state of Oregon. But I also want to make sure that I make the extra effort to be a good role model to the other girls around me, the other rodeo queens, the rodeo competitors, the people that I come in contact with. I want to make sure that they remember, not necessarily me, but remember Miss Rodeo Oregon. And I want to be someone that can be looked up to as a trendsetter and a good person, a lot of personality, a good horsewoman. I just want to make sure that people remember me for doing a really good job as Miss Rodeo Oregon. So I've been working really hard to acquire sponsors for my year that help kind of cover the cost of all the traveling that I'll be doing around the state of Oregon, the Northwest, and the country as a whole. And in return, I like to work really hard with my sponsors to make sure I promote them as much as I'm promoting the Miss Rodeo Oregon program. And so I offer them things such as advertising on my horse trailer, which will be going all over the state. And I have a sponsor shirt that I wear at all the rodeos, and they're on my autograph sheets, and I'll sign thousands of autograph sheets this year all across the country. And so that's one of the ways that I'm really trying to give back to my sponsors, because their support is invaluable to me.